Yeah.
Sorry. The time is 7:01. We'll call the Tuesday, January 9th, 2024 regular city council meeting to order. Could everyone please rise for the invocation given by Harvey Curley, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, gracious Father, we ask that you would be with us tonight. Let us keep in mind, Lord, that we are sitting up here and not for ourselves, but for the folks who put us here, and yes, indeed, for all the people who live in Eastpointe. Lord, we would ask that you would be with all the people that are pleading for help from our city, those who are sick, those who are having problems financially. Be with them, Lord, and solve their problems. We ask all these things in your Son's holy name, Jesus, the living Christ. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so the first thing that we have is the proclamation for School Board Recognition Month. We have some school board members here, I believe, right? So my plan was to come down and read it at the podium and perhaps have you guys stand up as well next to us. Would everyone like to come down for that? Mary?
Mary.
Okay, so I'm going to read the proclamation into the record. Thank you. Titled City of Eastpointe Proclamation School Board Recognition Month, January 2024. Whereas the City of Eastpointe recognizes the importance of public education in our community, our state, and our nation. And whereas the City of Eastpointe recognizes the importance of locally elected men and women representing our community in the governance of our school districts. And whereas Eastpointe Community School Board members invest countless hours of their time and service and training to keep abreast of education issues. Whereas the City of Eastpointe recognizes the future of our great land lies in the vision they have and the goals they set for education. Now, therefore, in recognition of these loyal public servants, the City Council of the City of Eastpointe does hereby commend the dedication of the Eastpointe Community Schools Board of Education to our children's education. Be it further resolved that the City Council in the City of Eastpointe, on behalf of the entire community, does hereby proclaim January 2024 as School Board Recognition Month and urges our fellow citizens to extend personal appreciation to each of the school board members of the Eastpointe Community Schools, proclaimed this 9th day of January 2024. So. And with that, would we please call the roll?
Good evening. Councilmember Baker?
Here.
Councilmember Curley?
Yes, here.
Councilmember DeMonico?
Here.
Mayor Kleinfeld?
Here.
Councilmember Poshadlik?
Here.
And the first thing that we have is a presentation from RARE. Are you ready to start?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Sarah Frederick, and thank you. So do I just or click the button? Okay. Perfect. Okay. Thank you. All right. My name is Sarah Frederick, and I'm the Assistant Director with the Recreation Authority of Roseville and Eastpointe. And I'm here tonight representing the Recreation Authority to share with you some of our upcoming programs for our spring and summer and to highlight some of our programs that are starting at the end of this month. I went all the way to the end. We gotta, I was too. Where's the? Oh. I know how to use this, I swear. Okay. All right. So the Recreation Authority offers programming to both Eastpointe and Roseville residents. We typically have a newsletter that comes out in January for our spring and summer highlights, and then again in August for our fall and winter. So this year, this season, we have introduced some new staff members at our facility, so we've been able to greatly expand our program offerings to our youth, adults, and seniors within these communities. So I wanted to kind of highlight some of our new programs that we are offering that will be in our upcoming newsletter that we hope to have printed in and at the office and here at City Hall hopefully by next week and everything. So we do also send them out to all the kids at the schools in both Eastpointe and in Roseville as well. So we are doing another spring craft class this summer that is hosted, or this spring, hosted by one of our staff members, Amanda. We are doing a T-Swift Teen Social. We are definitely capitalizing on the popularity of Miss Swift, so we are all very excited for that one. We are doing a Donuts with Grown-Ups event at Spindler Park. With our preschool, we have found a need for a lot of more preschool programs for our working families in our community. We have feedback from a lot of parents saying that our preschool programs are during the day and weekdays, and they cannot attend those because they are working. So Little Picasso's and Creative Kids and Parent-Toddler Tumbling is outside of the general 9 to 5 working hours. So we're excited to be able to offer those now. We have also heavily increased our adaptive programming for our community members with special needs. We have introduced yoga, we have a theater class, Playful Pals is kind of like a parent-child toddler class, our youth character workshop for individuals with autism, and then cheerleading for individuals with special needs. So a lot of those range from different ages, from toddler all the way through senior. We are also offering many other sports opportunities for our community. Our co-ed sports sampler is more for our teens here in the community, where they can sign up for different sports, and we do like a very minimal introduction and gameplay. And each month we're offering a different unique sport that's not one of the typical ones where you'd sign up for a league. We're offering summer dance this year. We are now introducing more spring recreation soccer leagues. And again, offering more tumbling classes and gymnastics. And then with our youth and teen enrichment classes, we are going to be offering a mini spring break camp this year, Teen Craft and Game Club. And then we have REOCO Robot, Business Bonanza, Website Wizards. And then lastly, we're offering a free program for after-school fun at Aaron Park Community. We've partnered with them here in Eastpointe for various events at their community, and now we're partnering to have that featured in our newsletter to offer to the community as a whole and to help that community out, as well as providing more enrichment activities for the kids there that reside there. And then lastly, we have our adult enrichment programs. That's something we've kind of lacked in the past, and to be able to introduce 6 new classes this spring is really exciting. So we have calligraphy class, we have a wellness class, introduction to improv, photography classes, and then we're introducing a new summer tennis ladder league as well. So we have a total of 29 new programs. In the past, we've typically offered 3 to 5 new programs. So we're really excited, and we want the word to get out to the community about all the new opportunities so that they can sign up. Even though registration is done for this, we just wanted to kind of highlight on the growth of our basketball and volleyball leagues with the Recreation Authority. Since the pandemic and everything, there was a slight decline in it, but it has continually grown each past year. So this upcoming season for our co-eds 2nd and 3rd grade, we do have a total of 10 teams. Boys 4th and 5th grade, 6 teams. Boys middle school, we have 6 teams, and boys high school, we have 5 teams. You may notice that we have like a slight decline in girls basketball, but they are opting to play volleyball. So we have a great increase in our girls volleyball league. Again, we have 6 teams again for middle school, but high school we have 5. Last year we only had 2. So that is becoming more popular, and everything is for our ladies in the community. They definitely seem to be liking our volleyball more, so which is great. And then adult volleyball, we have 7 co-ed teams, and last year there was only 4. So we definitely have seen an increase in volleyball over the past year. Aside from our basketball season starting up in a few weeks, we have our first event of the year is our drive-in movie. That is also going to be at the Aaron Park Community Building. We are requiring that those who do register are a resident of Eastpointe and Roseville, just because we are offering the event for free and there's limited space. But again, it is a free event. It's really fun. This is our 3rd year running it. We have the community bring their own box, and we provide all the decorating supplies for the kids to make a vehicle out of their box, and then they sit in their car and watch a movie and everything. We provide snacks. So it's a fun event. The registration deadline is Thursday, February 15th. We do host this event over the kids' midwinter break, so it is something fun for the family to do if they opt not to travel during that break. And then the same day in the morning, though, we have our hot shot competition. We've been running this for many years. Again, it's a free program for all ages, and it's basically a skill test for shooting hoops and everything. We have trophies and everything, so that's a good activity for the morning, and then the drive-in movie for the afternoon. And then just right now, we just have a bunch of different programs from preschool to tennis to dance, some of our enrichment programs that are registering right now that we need to get kind of filled and everything because they're starting up very quickly. So we don't want to cancel any of them. So just help us get the word out about these programs. We try our best to share on social media and everything, send emails out. So if you do have social media and everything, please continue to share our stuff and everything so that the word gets out about what programs we have to offer. And then we also are in need of sponsors for all the events that we are offering this year. We like to keep everything a minimal or low cost or free for our special events for the community, but that's only able to do so if we have those sponsorship dollars. So we do work with some really great sponsors over the years that continue to help support us each year, but we are definitely in need of more. So if anyone ever has any ideas or knows a local business that you think would be a really good fit for working with the Recreation Authority, I urge you to share my contact information with them, or if you can pass along that to me, I would greatly appreciate it. I'd love to set up a meeting with anyone to discuss any opportunities that they would like to help to be involved. We're pretty open to what we're looking for. Obviously, monetary is always, we love that, but also if they can do some type of in-kind donation, whether they can offer volunteer services or a type of game or activity for at the event, that's also really needed as well. And then lastly, as mentioned, these are QR codes for the online registration and the spring summer newsletter. Again, the spring summer newsletter is available digitally on our website. We've also shared it on social media. We hope to have the printed copy in by next week. That was it. So, any
Good.
questions or anything?
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
Just a comment to say thank you so much. It's a lot of work. It looks simple on the screen, but I know you went through hours and hours to develop that, and so God bless you.
And we just welcomed our new staff member. Her name is Caitlin Golan-Bleski, and she is our new community engagement supervisor. So she is full-time in the office, and she'll be overseeing a lot of the special events and day camp. So because of her, we're able to offer all this. So
thank
we're
you.
really excited.
Thank you all.
And thank you for coming to make a presentation. I don't remember the last time Rose come to us to do that.
Yes.
So it's really appreciated to
Yeah.
update us. So
So I plan to come bi-monthly for it and everything,
Awesome.
just to share everything that we're doing. So
thank you.
you're welcome.
Mr. Mayor, I think I've got one question for the council, actually, and thank you, Sarah, for putting this together. Many years ago, we challenged Roseville to the hot shot competition. I don't want to talk about the results, but,
Did we lose?
yep, Steve Duchesne and I did not do so hot. But if anyone here is willing, on city council or city admin, let's try and bring back the trophy. There's no trophy, but maybe we make one now.
There's
Let's
a
do it,
trophy
yeah.
for age.
What'd you say?
I mean, if you win your age group, you definitely win a trophy.
All right. Oh,
Yes, there is trophies.
all right. Margaret and I are.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm for it.
We'll talk later, and I'll have to send out the official challenge to Roseville or something. But that was pretty fun to just
Good
do
idea.
that between the two cities.
I'll send the reminder. Awesome. Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
That's great.
All right, moving on to, moving on to approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion?
Okay, will we have to make the minutes, update to the minutes before we do, or that's just approving what we have outlined? And then when we get to the approval of the minutes, will we make that adjustment? I know there was a correction to the minutes.
To the minute? Yeah, I think we can just address that under approval of the, I don't think we have to change the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda for tonight.
Second that.
All right, motion and support, please call the roll.
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember DeMonico,
Yes.
Councilmember Curley,
Yes?
Mayor Kleinfeld,
Yes.
Councilmember Shadlick.
Yes.
All right, moving on to the first hearing of the public. Would anyone wish to be heard?
Good evening, Council. Haven't seen you since last year. Hope everyone had a safe and happy holiday. I'm a little perturbed with the proclamation of the school board that apparently Council is not paying attention to what's going on with the school board any more than school board members are paying attention to what's going on in the city. As a matter of principle, I did not want to stand and receive recognition for anything, considering our test scores are in the toilet, and we currently have 3 impending civil rights violation lawsuits against us. I don't think that's worthy of recognition. I think what needs to happen is people need to take a good look at how they vote, and when they vote people into office continuously, time after time, expecting different results from doing the same thing over and over again. This is ridiculous. We are never going to be able to attract families with children to move into Eastpointe when we don't have a viable school district. I've been saying that for years. And apparently, it hasn't made a difference to anyone. Maybe it's falling on the wrong ears. I don't know. I will continue to fight for the students and teachers and residents of this city. I won't give up. But I need you to understand, recognition for failure is simply not an appropriate measure to take. And I hope you would take that into consideration in future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else wish to be heard?
Hi, Cindy Federle. I'd like to comment on the 9 Mile redesign. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, and this city has a whole herd in our city. It's been discussed and planned for quite some time. We now have 2 new councilpersons that, if my memory serves me, never made a public comment when plans were previously discussed. Perhaps they did fill out the surveys, but they certainly didn't comment publicly. It seems suspect that Councilman DeMonico waited until he had their support to redesign the road. It is not reasonable to make changes after public hearings were held, opinions given through surveys and publicly, and many hours invested in the design. It's disrespectful of the process which had been completed. Reputations take years to build and only moments to destroy. We are just beginning to rebuild, the rebuild phase of Eastpointe. So let's talk about attracting new families and young families to Eastpointe. Have any of you driven into the city north on Gratiot starting at 8 Mile? The first thing you'll see is the old Kmart building. Not pretty, not at all attractive. Next comes auto repair shops / junkyards filled with vehicles. There was a dirty white limo parked on Gratiot for over 3 weeks, which was only moved after I called the police station. Where was code enforcement? For 3 weeks it sat there. Then you'll notice a resale shop, which could be a set for the 70s sitcom Sanford and Son. Now, many of you are too young to have watched this sitcom in the 70s, but trust me, it was a junkyard. This is what this store looks like. Then you're gonna see another auto repair shop with cars parked all over the place. Then there's the credit union with orange barrels and snow fencing rolled up in preparation for placing across their driveway to prevent the hour bar patrons from parking in their lot. All of this renders a negative opinion in the first half mile between 8 Mile and Topher. This is what new people see coming into the city if they're looking to reside here. If our code enforcement and ordinances do not prevent this blight, our city will never get better and will never attract new businesses and families. There are landlords in our city that don't seem to care about their tenants' behavior. I'm referring to the multiple hearing of the public comments made by Karen Marusian.
You have
I won't
30
even-
seconds.
Okay, I won't even bring up the schools since you can't fix that mess. 9 Mile does not have the right businesses to encourage walking. For safety reasons, per the police and fire chiefs, we need 5 lanes for safety for all of us. Mayor Kleinfeld, you said at the last meeting that you're all here for the right reasons. I need to remind all of you, you're here to follow and carry out the wishes of the residents, not your personal agendas. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else wish to be heard?
I'm the third watchdog of the city, Karen Morajan, Eastpointe resident. First of all, happy 2024 to everyone. I hope it's going to be a better year for everyone in every area. Listening to my co-plaintiffs speak, as watchdogs, it's really tiring. But we have to stand up and we have to speak up. Otherwise, the city will just go into further decline and ruins. And, sadly, we just don't have enough people showing up at the council meetings. It could range anywhere from apathy to they just don't care. Maybe they're afraid. We really need the people from the neighborhood watch meetings to show up and also speak up and speak out. We need boots on the ground. We need people walking all areas of Eastpointe to make sure that none of these animal hoarding and animal cruelty cases, stay under the radar. I find that absolutely egregious. And if anyone can understand how passionate I feel about that, that would be our city attorney and then also our mayor when I did my externship with the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, and I about lost my mind with the banker boxes full of warrant requests in regards to animal cruelty cases. I walk a lot in this city, but I don't walk the entire city. We need more people invested to do that. And, saying that you feel bad for the animals does nothing. You have to pick up the phone and you have to report it. Also, with the landlords, I sent as many of you as possible an email, and for a new council member, I apologize, I don't have your email. Mariah, I'm sorry, I forgot to email you. You can easily find it under the eviction lab, and the subtitle is How the Private Rental Market Creates Crime Hotspots.
You have 30 seconds.
Okay, so it's not about finding these negligent landlords because they own hundreds of properties. They're making millions annually. What needs to be done is to look at the rental properties and their history of code violations and then yank their certificate of occupancy. Obviously, there's so much more to address, but I'm out of time. I really hope we can get this moving forward because it's having a horrible impact on our city, our neighborhoods, and our residents. Our residents should not live in fear of tenants who just could care less about their criminal behavior, and the same holds true for the landlords.
Thank you.
Time's up. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else wish to be heard?
Harvey, I'm getting as old as you. Not as good looking, though.
That's a good thing.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mike Lameau, resident of Eastpointe for 42 years. First thing I want to do is congratulate the DPW. In May or June, we had a real strong wind go through the neighborhood, and I have a tree there that's 150 feet tall.
Ooh.
It fell. Lucky for us, it went across the street and just missed the neighbor's house. The city was out there, the DPW was out there about 8 o'clock in the evening, and they had the tree gone by 11. They did a fantastic job, so kudos to the DPW. They did a hell of a job. Now the others, oh, by the way, I've got the shirt on right tonight. Last time I was here, it was on backwards. I rushed to get over here. I wanted to see all you people. 9 Mile Road. I walked and talked to a lot of the businesses along there, and they're quite worried about, number one, the reduction in lanes. Number two, the construction of the roadway. The changing, when we widened it, I was an inspector then for a company, and we widened it to 3 lanes each way with parking lanes and a center lane. And we changed all of the drainage. Guess what you're gonna have to do, folks? Change all of the drainage, the water structures, the electrical structures that are out there. You're gonna have to look at the driveways you're gonna have to change, widen, and I can bet you that it's gonna cost you more than what the 5 lanes would be, strictly for staging, traffic, and the other things I mentioned. I don't think everybody I talk to, all of my neighbors, they all come down to 9 Mile Road and they go east or west, they go towards the expressway, and when we built and widened 9 Mile Road, MDOT said that was the best thing we could do because it would eliminate the traffic problems we were having a 9 mile. Like I said, I just hope that when your bid comes in, you don't have to go to him for money. Because you turned it down, you could have built one for an additional $200,000, which is chicken feed, really. You're gonna have to pay more than that from the city things. I just hope to hell that don't happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else wish to be heard?
My name is Larry Edwards. I would like to start off by saying I commend and thank for the formal council due to the MOT project that would have probably never been able to have a chance to be prepared when it was voted to prepare it. The votes was 4-1, and that's the normal seemed like a procedure at that time for voting and what have you. Always had one person that always was against everything that was to help. I mean, they actually came out and looked at it visibly themselves and could not deny that it needed construction to be repaired and what have you. But in spite of even doing that, it was still voted down by one person. And this same trend is continued to lagger and continue to go into this new council now that we have with 2 additional members and what have you. So we know how that's stacked and what have you, that a lot of things are not going to be able to get needed for the citizens, especially those in residence area, if you're not a part of the group and what have you, because of totalitarian. The democracy. It's a totalitarian situation that's been set up by especially one individual. That in regard of the many people that is against the 9-mile 3-lane project and what have you, one has always continued to push it on and to even hold it back into a certain time and what have you. Even the former mayor, Pixley, wrote and said this person always have been pushed, even though despite of being told time after time after time after time that the people do not want it, we do not want it. There are certain things that when the people want things that you have to abide by and govern accordingly, not according to how you feel and your egotistical ego and what have you. So we have we had problems with the former council, and look like we're in the same situation, if not worse, with the new council as well. When they're allowing.
You have about 30 seconds.
Thank you. Without that's trying to be of taking of usurping their authority and becoming a taking away democracy. Where some people have never had democracy and what have you, and going over into totalitarian. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else wish to be heard? Anyone else? Seeing none, the first hearing of the public is closed, and we'll move on to approval of the minutes.
Mr. Mayor, I would move that we would receive and file the special meeting minutes of December 19th, 2023.
Second that?
Motion support, please call the roll.
Councilmember Curley,
Yes.
Councilmember DeMonico,
Yes.
Mayor Kleinfeld,
Yes.
Councilmember Pashadlik,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
And Mr. Mayor, I would move to receive and file the minutes of the regular meeting on December 19th, 2023.
Councilman Curley, with the change also, the unfinished business, Part B, the vote was 5-0. As opposed to the 2-3 vote it shows. Is it that part of your motion?
So we would amend the motion to
Fix that
signify the
vote.
correction
If you'd like to, yeah.
to be 5-0 then.
Okay. With that
Second.
motion, with that correction, is there support?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay, motion and support, please call the roll.
Councilmember Curley,
Yes?
Councilmember DeMonico?
Yes.
Mayor Kleinfeld?
Yes.
Councilmember Shadlick?
Yes.
Councilmember Baker?
Yes.
All right, moving on to scheduled hearings, we have none, so moving on to unfinished business, approval of the amendments to the administrative rules and regulations.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, I've read the many pages of what we were given Friday afternoon, and quite frankly, I'm not ready to move on this one way or the other, so I would like to, at least to get it on the floor, to table item A of unfinished business, the approval of amendments to the administration rules and regulations.
Okay, would you want to, are you making a motion to table that to a specific date? Like next meeting?
Until the next regular meeting.
Okay. Is there support?
I've got one quick question for Councilman Curley.
Yes.
Our next meeting is next week. Should
Oh.
we do 2?
Oh, that's right, we have
Does-
3 in a row, didn't we?
Yeah, there's a small amount of time.
So the next meeting would be February 6th.
Okay.
A very special day for one of the council people, as I understand, but
Well, I'll second that tabling motion if that was still to be your motion,
okay.
Councilman Curley.
Okay, there's a motion support. I will comment, I know we've had a little bit of time to look at this. I think some more time's merited. I do want to take another look at the nepotism section and maybe even suggest some language changes, but I haven't had time to draft any ideas for that change. So I think it would be good. There are a lot of kind of major changes in it, so. Does anyone else want to say anything else? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Curley,
Yes,
Councilmember DeMonico?
Yes.
Councilmember Shadlick?
Yes.
Councilmember Baker?
Yes.
Mayor Kleinfeld?
Yes. Moving on to reports from administration, we'll start with our city manager, Ms. Mariah Walton.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. First, I'd like to highlight today is Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, so sending a thank you to our men and women in blue. Thank you for your service and everything that you do here in the city of Eastpointe. And piggybacking off of that, announcing to the community that Chief Corey Haynes is officially, permanently our police chief for the city of Eastpointe. So he's been incredible since he's come in and hit the ground running with a lot of things with the city of Eastpointe. So we appreciate your service, dedication, and look forward to continuing to work with you. Moving forward, we do have an election coming up. I know our deputy clerk is here, and her office has been working very diligently in preparing for the election. We have the presidential primary on February 27th, but this is also the first election that will be rolling out early voting. So you are able to vote in person on February 17th, 9 days of early voting. Our early voting center is at the library, so Memorial Library there. There will be notice going out to every resident in the city of Eastpointe as required by law with additional information on early voting. If you have questions ahead of time, please stop in, see us, give us a call, or stop in. Our lovely ladies at the clerk's office would love to answer any questions that you have, and of course, register to vote. On December 29, the city of Eastpointe issued in public advisory as well as a press release in regards to the lead testing results that recently have come back. Our action level exceedance was higher than the 15 parts per billion as permitted by testing, and so that information has been published on our website. It was published on Nixle as well as everywhere else. I do want to reiterate that the city of Eastpointe and City Council has been very dedicated to replacing the lead lines in Eastpointe. So far, we have replaced over 805 lines. City Council has designated $1 million in the last 3 years to replace those lead lines. And Senator Kleinfeld, as well as Representative Edwards, have worked and were able to secure an additional $10 million for the city of Eastpointe. So we do have information on the agenda tonight for City Council to consider accepting that award of $10 million to continue aggressively replacing those lines. And to be clear, I know we get a lot of questions into the manager's office as well as DPW. It's not a water system issue with water that's coming from GLWA. This is very specific to the water service lines that are going going to each individual home. So the water is treated, and there are corrosion efforts through GLWA, so the water is being treated. It's not a water system issue. It is regarding the material specific at the homes, individual homes. And we do have maps here in City Hall, right in our city manager's window, that designate each individual home in the city of Eastpointe. And if you do have a lead line, they're coded by color. We can help you identify your home. We also have information on our website, as well as through DPW, that can also assist with that, identifying what lead line or what water service line, material line you have in your home. So again, if you have questions related to the efforts that are going on in the city of Eastpointe or your water line, please reach out to us. We have that information and want to make sure that we get that over to you. And with that, Mayor and Council, I can certainly answer any questions you may have.
Does anyone have any questions? All right, thank you very much. We'll move on to our Finance Director's report. Mr. Randy Blum.
Yes, Mayor and Council. If you notice, there is a hard copy of the audit in front of you. That is your copy for last year's audit. There are 2 hard copies that have gone over the library, available to the public, as well as being available online. So if anybody wants to do a real deep dive, have fun. And that is all I have for this evening.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Blum? All right, moving right along to the City Attorney's report, Mr. Richard Albright.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of Council. I do have an update regarding the Bird Scooter contract. I know at the last meeting, we were instructed to proceed with having a new contract negotiated and brought before the City Council. I did speak with the representative from Bird Scooter last week, and he indicated that he would be providing me with a proposed contract. Today, I received a call from the same individual and said that due to a corporate restructuring that Bird Scooter will no longer be operating scooters in the city of Eastpointe. Certainly if something changes in the future, I'll bring that to the council's attention. I know there was some discussion on building department issues here in the city. I wanted just to let everyone know that yesterday over at the 38th District Court, we like to refer to it as a building department day because a lot of building department cases are there. And we had one tenant, or one landlord rather, one defendant landlord, and they pled on 40 different cases. And that resulted in fines and costs of $10,400 that they agreed to do. They have a time limit on when they have to bring these properties up to code, and if they do not do so, then all of the same tickets will be reissued to that one landlord defendant. And with that, Mr. Mayor, Council does have my monthly status report. I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right. Does anyone have any questions? All right, thank you. Moving on to new business, item A, introduction and first reading of ordinance number 23-1235. To amend chapter 18, environment, article 3, nuisances of the ordinances. Would anyone like to make a motion?
Sure, Mr. Mayor, I'll move we introduce and give first reading to ordinance number 24-1235 to amend chapter 18, environment, article 3, nuisances, the ordinances of the city of Eastpointe, and schedule the second reading and consideration of adoption at the regular city council meeting on January 16th, 2024.
Support.
All right. Did anyone have anything else to add?
One quick thing, Mr. Mayor, if I could ask Ms. Walton for this, I know we've provided the map of the years for the sidewalks. Can we post that and like not a scanned copy of it, the official one from AEW when they make them, much easier to read. Just put it on the website and we can try to share that with everyone so that they're not surprised when sidewalks are marked in their territory.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, motion support, please call the roll.
My apologies for the screens. They go up automatically after a certain amount of time. Sorry, Councilmember DeMonico. Councilmember DeMonico?
Yes.
Councilmember Curley?
Yes.
Councilmember Baker?
Yes.
Mayor Kleinfeld?
Yes.
Councilmember Shadlick?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Moving on to item B, adoption of resolution number 24-1972 to establish a new hardship exemption policy and guidelines. Would anyone like to start off with the motion?
Sure, Mr. Mayor, I'll move we adopt resolution number 24-1972, which establishes a new hardship exemption policy and guidelines consistent with state law for use by the Eastpointe Board of Review.
Second.
All right, motion support. Did anyone have any discussion on this item? Please call the roll.
Councilmember DeMonico?
Yes.
Councilmember Baker?
Yes.
Councilmember Curley.
Yes?
Mayor Kleinfeld?
Yes.
Councilmember Shadlick?
Yes.
All right, moving on to item C, Springer Avenue Resurfacing Bid Award regarding the CDBG project. Would anyone like to make a motion?
I move that we award the Springer Avenue resurfacing CDBG project from Virginia Avenue to Boulder Avenue to the low bidder Great Lakes Contracting Services LLC of Waterford, Michigan, in the amount of $323,820.75.
All right, would anyone like to second that?
Sure, support.
Did anyone have any questions regarding this? All right, motion and support. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Baker?
Yes.
Councilmember Curley.
Yes?
Councilmember DeMonico?
Yes.
Mayor Kleinfeld?
Yes.
Councilmember Shadlick?
Yes.
All right, moving on to item D, schedule a public hearing regarding proposed changes to the 9 Mile Road reconstruction project. Would anyone like to make a motion?
Mr. Mayor, before we make a motion, just a question, whoever can answer. How are the businesses going to be notified, and how is the public going to be notified before the 6th of February?
Mr. Mayor, if I may?
Yes, please.
I mistakenly did not include the AEW memo in the council packet, but I've sent you all an email, and then I provided a hard copy where AEW is requesting publication and then mail notification to businesses and residents along 9 Mile.
That's correct. Yeah, yes.
So a letter would be sent to each of the businesses here in Eastpointe, not the owner who could be in whoever. So it would be sent to the building here in Eastpointe.
Would you send it to the owner and to both potentially? For sure, it would go to the owner. I guess that'd be
Well, the only reason I'm saying that, the owner, a lot of the people who own property here live out of the country.
Right.
So that sending a letter to them is not going to do any good, but if you notify the person here in town.
Right. Right, yeah, I mean, that's up to the city, but yeah, I mean, we can notify both the owner and the tenant or whoever's in that building, yes. But we would notify whoever we need to notify in order to get the public to engage in the project.
I mean, I agree with that. I think it should be sent to the owner and to the physical addresses.
Yes.
Okay, so you said, so it's up to the city, so I guess I'd ask the city manager what your intention is going to be.
We have no problem doing both. We also have our economic development manager, Ian McCain. He's been doing boots on the ground outreach during the 9 Mile construction, so we can utilize him as well to connect with the 9 Mile businesses so that they can participate in this process.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, if I could continue, please. That hearing will be on Tuesday, February 6th. Is that correct?
If we make a motion tonight to set it for that date.
Okay. All right, let's assume before the motion would be February 6th. To let everybody know that in our normal meeting, there will be a hearing of the public, and then there'll be this item that people can come up and give their comments. Do not come up to the hearing of the public and give your opinion about should this move forward or should it not move forward, because if you come up to the hearing of the public, your opinion is not going to be counted. So if you feel real passionate, you're wasting your time if you talk at the hearing of the public. And just, Mr. Mayor, sometimes I'll tell things if they upset me. I don't know if all of you know, this whole reconstruction is called a road diet. I don't know what the hell that means. Why can't the folks just say what it is? I mean, if I were to say, are you in favor of the road diet? They'll say, well, no, what vegetable place can I pick that up at? So that's just my opinion, Mr. Mayor. I just think it's ridiculous. Of course, you know how I feel about the project. I think the whole project's ridiculous, but calling it a road diet is just, I'm not going to change it for complaining, but I'm trying to get it off my chest. Thank you.
Thank you. And to your point about the public hearing, of course, with any public hearing, if I open up the hearing of the public, the first one, I will let people know that there is a special hearing of the
Good.
public.
Okay.
For their comments to be counted on the project. So I will repeat that when we get to that point.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Go ahead.
Sure. I'll move we schedule a public hearing regarding the proposed changes to the 9 Mile Road reconstruction project for the city council meeting on Tuesday, February 6th, 2024.
Support.
If I may, do we have to put anything in the motion about notifying the residents and businesses, or are we good with it as is?
I think we're good at as is. Whenever we schedule a public hearing, administration, I believe automatically essentially goes forward with publicizing and putting out that notification.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure.
But to that point, I would ask if we can get those letters out immediately, especially to the businesses, so that they have time to plan for it. Motion and support, please call the roll.
Councilmember DeMonico?
Yes.
Councilmember Curley.
Yes?
Mayor Kleinfeld?
Yes.
Councilmember Shadlick?
Yes.
Councilmember Baker?
Yes.
All right, moving on to item E, approval of the EGLE grant agreement, lead service line replacement project.
Mr. Mayor, be happy to motion to approve the Eagle Grant Agreement for the lead water service line replacement project.
Support.
Okay, moved by Kari DeMonico and supported by Margaret Shadlick. I repeated that because I don't know if you heard it.
Thank you.
Would anyone like to speak to this? Please call the roll.
Councilmember DeMonico?
Yes.
Councilmember Shadlick?
Yes.
Councilmember Baker?
Yes.
Councilmember Curley.
Yes.
Mayor Kleinfeld?
Yes. Moving on to item F, receive and file DPW project summary reports.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Motion and support, please call the roll.
Councilmember Baker?
Yes.
Councilmember DeMonico?
Yes.
Councilmember Curley.
Yes?
Mayor Kleinfeld?
Yes.
Councilmember Shadlick?
Yes.
Moving on to item G, approval of music license agreements. Would anyone like to make a motion?
Sure, Mr. Mayor, I would move to approve the music license agreement with BMI, SCSAC, and ASCAP, and authorize the city to pay the associated fees.
Second that.
Motion and support. Did anyone have any questions on this item? All right, please call the roll.
Councilmember Curley.
Yes?
Councilmember DeMonico?
Yes.
Mayor Kleinfeld?
Yes.
Councilmember Shadlick?
Yes.
Councilmember Baker?
Yes.
All right, moving on to item H, approval of the non-union grade scale. Would anyone like to make a motion?
Sure, Mr. Mayor. I have one comment before I make the motion. I'm happy with this, the grade scale. There's just two comments, I believe, in it that are not 100% accurate between the budget amendments and the and between the grade scales that we've approved in the past. And I guess I'd be happy to approve this without those two notes. It's the notes on July 1st, 2020 and July 1st, 2023. Because we approve a budget amendment doesn't in turn mean we approve the non-union grade scale. They're sort of linked, of course, but they're separate documents that we voted on separately in the past. So I'd be willing to motion that with those two comments removed, and then, of course, we'd do a new comment after today. If that makes sense.
Would there be support for that?
Yes, I support that.
Okay, I did have one additional, I think the last time I saw that council had voted on setting the pay scale, at the actual pay scale, not a budget amendment, I think was July 1st, 2019. I believe that was put forth by Sabota at the time, if that's,
Yes, that's correct. That is the only non-union grade scale approval that I was able to find in any of the minutes online.
so the other, and I don't mean to be too pedantic, but the 7119, I agree with striking those two notes. Their budget amendments were done, but I don't think the grade scale was ever actually changed or approved. The 7119 note says City Council approved a budget amendment to increase the grade scale ranges. I think it's just City Council approved an increase in the grade scale ranges, because that wasn't a budget amendment, that was just the scale, I think, that was put forward for council. There might have been also a budget amendment at the same time, but.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I think I can confirm that. Yeah, here we go. There's motion by me, seconded by Lucido, that City Council approved the non-union grade scale, updated July 1, 2019, with an effective date of July 1, 2019. Yeah. That was on July 2nd, 2019 that we did that.
Would you be willing to add that one thing, that correction to your motion? That
Yes, please.
And would there still be support for that?
Yes, I would still support with the changes.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Councilmember DeMonico?
Yes.
Councilmember Curley.
Yes?
Mayor Kleinfeld?
Yes.
Councilmember Shadlick?
Yes.
Councilmember Baker?
Yes.
Right, moving on to payrolls and bills. Would anyone like to make a motion?
I move that we pay the bills in the amount of $3,739,254.20.
I'll second that.
Did anyone have any questions? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Baker?
Yes.
Councilmember DeMonico?
Yes.
Mayor Kleinfeld?
Yes.
Councilmember Shadlick?
Yes.
Councilmember Curley?
Yes.
All right, and we're moving on to the second hearing of the public. The second hearing of the public is now open. Would anyone wish to be heard?
Use your cane.
Where's your mustache?
Cut it off.
God. Harvey used to have a beautiful gray mustache.
Oh, thank you.
First off, good evening, council, mayor. Mike Lameau, 42 years. Mr. Albright, don't tell him about my zoning board. Marijuana houses, how are we coming on that? Haven't heard, haven't seen anything. Are we stalling? Have we got people bidding? What is going on? People in the neighborhood are questioning, not that they want them, just that they want to know how it's going. The paving company you have for Springer, do you know they're under a federal investigation for bribery and et cetera in the city of Detroit and Wayne County? The paving company that you have, you read it off, it's been in the papers. There's collusion between 3 paving companies with the one you have, and 2 others, and some of the asphalt producers for bribery, extortion, and manipulating the prices. Okay. Notifying city residents. Are we going to be putting that in the Macomb Daily or the East Sider? And how about the News or Free Press? At least twice, so that people would see it. I and the residents would appreciate it. At the hearing of the public, are we going to be able to look at the plans before we talk about them? I know that when I ran pre-cons in that, we had a hearing of the public, and I had to lay the plans out and explain them to everybody when I worked for the highway department. So that's just things I have. Other than that, have a good night. Harvey, don't forget your cane. And I'll find out about Milo.
Okay.
Has anybody here heard about anything about Milo Hayes? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mary Howell Rayford. I forgot to say that before, probably because I think everybody knows who I am, and that may not be true, at any rate. I'm looking at this project and wondering one of the same questions that Mike addressed regarding knowing the plans. It's kind of pointless for residents to have an opinion on plans that we haven't seen or don't understand. So I know several people that I've talked to would like to see the plans before were actually brought up for discussion. And Chief Haynes, thank you. I did post something about Law Enforcement Day. I guess I forgot to post it or share it to the police page. At any rate, I really want everybody to understand my heart. I care about the city. I care about the kids. I care about the teachers. I care about being transparent for residents in all things. Am I perfect? Not by any stretch of the imagination. But I strive to do better for those who elected me. As someone once said, you won by 83 write-in votes. Well, 83 write-in votes got me a seat, and I was still elected by the people. So I still have a responsibility to the people. And I would hope, because I take that so seriously, that you would do the same. Won't stop loving you, might talk about you. And, but you know what I mean. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Would anyone else wish to be heard?
Second bite at the apple. Just to tie in what I was saying before, with the animals, they really are the most vulnerable in society, not just here in Eastpointe, but everywhere. And, they can't speak, and they suffer so much. All it takes is for somebody to pick up the phone and make that call. You don't even have to give your name, nothing. Just make sure that what you see is being reported. And there's a lot of cross-reporting, so if there's animal abuse going on and there's kids at the house, then CPS is going to get involved, and vice versa. If CPS responds to child abuse cases and there's animals in the house, animal control's notified. And so, back to the landlords. The one case where there were 28 dogs being illegally bred. How the hell did the landlord not know that? Why? Because what do you have? You have negligent landlords that don't show up at the properties. And I just pulled this up on the court docket while the meeting was going to give an idea what's going on with some of these landlords. Great Lakes Renaissance Properties has 272 cases on the docket. Garner Properties, 569 cases. The Home Store, 81. So, I mean, 81 is paltry, but still, this is ridiculous. I know there was mention about the 40 cases and the fines of being a little over $10,000. To us, that may seem like a lot, but when they own that many properties, that's nothing. That's a drop in the bucket. Like I said during the first comment period, you know, they own hundreds of properties. They're making millions every year. 10,000 is not going to hurt their bottom line.
You have about 20 seconds.
So, you know, I'm asking the city to be more proactive. Start pulling their violations, the housing code violations, and start yanking those certificates of occupancy, because we can't have this. It's bad for Eastpointe. It's bad everywhere, but we can only deal with Eastpointe. And we speak up because we care. That's why we raise so much hell. We care. If we didn't give a damn, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't raise hell. With
Thank
that, I do need to give this to Mariah. I keep forgetting.
Thank you. Would anyone else wish to be heard? Anyone else? All right, seeing none, the second hearing of the public is closed. Moving on to mayor and council reports. Councilman Baker.
Thank you. I think we finished up at a pretty good time. So keeping with, well, Happy New Year first and foremost. I'm sorry, let me go back with that. Hope everybody had a good holiday. However you chose to celebrate or not, or relaxed, or whatever you did, I hope it was good for you. And hopefully we have a lot of good things coming in this new year. I'm going to start off with my word of the day. Some of you may have seen it posted, but it was perspicacious.
What's that again?
Perspicacious.
What was that?
P-E-R-S-P-I.
Can you spell that for us?
I actually can. But P-R, I'll spell it to you later. Anyway, perspicacious is just being able to identify someone or something quickly. Basically, you can just make quick identification of a situation or a person. Some people have an unusual knack to be able to do that. There are people that can just eyeball certain things and it doesn't take them long to say, hey, this is what it is. So perspicacious, just a little food for thought. That's it.
All right, thank you. Councilman Curley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, we finished the year out, didn't we? This is the first meeting of the new year, and there's a lot going to be happening in our city, isn't there? But, you know, we're looking a few things. We're looking for a grant to get a second basketball court that we would have put in Spindler Park, so the kids don't have to come all the way over there to all the way over to Memorial Field. So we're working on that. We're working on getting a grant for a splash pad. A lot of cities have that, and our little kids will be just thrilled to death if we had that. So that's a couple things that we're looking at. My personal opinion for what I should be looking at in my last 4 years as council person is local streets, our local streets. You know, and the biggest problem we have repairing our local streets is money. It's always money. And it's not cheap to do that. So the administration is doing the best they can to find money to start doing the streets. We voted today to do a street, didn't we? But some of the streets are in very bad shape, and if we can't find money for another 3 years, some of the streets, you may not be able to go down more than 10 miles an hour because you'd blow your tires out. So, but that's a positive thing. We're thinking about it. So let's work together. There's going to be things that you're going to come up here for the next 12 months and give us suggestions of what your concerns are, and that's good. There's a couple things I didn't realize that were spoken from that podium today that I want to take a look at. So let's go home happy and Michigan won, so we should be happy about that. My bucket list, I'll be 87 in a couple more weeks, and I have only one thing left on my bucket list, and that's for the Lions to go to the Super Bowl. So I don't know if it's going to happen or not. If it doesn't, I'll watch it from up there. I'll just say, hey, good luck there. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Pashadlik.
I just have a couple of things. I'd like to wish everyone a happy new year as well, and thank you to our law enforcement, and welcome, Corey. Welcome aboard. We're very excited to work with you. Heard very good things about you. I'd also like to mention that I attended the Arts and Cultural Diversity Commission meeting yesterday, and they are putting on a Martin Luther King Day event next Monday in honor of Martin Luther King. It's a celebration. It'll be held from 2 to 5 p.m. Across the street here at 23051 Gratiot. They're just going to have different various activities. There'll be some entertainment, some things for the kids to do, such as like making bracelets and some coloring, little crafts and things. They're going to have a flyer there and some refreshments, and sounds like it'll be a nice time. So I'd like to welcome everyone to come to that MLK event. Again, it's across the street, kitty corner here at that event place at 23051 Gratiot Avenue. And if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me. I can get you that information.
Thank you, Councilman DeMonico.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Councilman Baker, for keeping the meeting short by not spelling your word of the day. Appreciate it. And yeah, Councilman Curley, I was gonna start the new year off by talking about roads also. Looking forward to continuing to keep the roads nice. I think it's worked very well over the years to fix the concrete roads by cutting out sections and just fixing it so we don't have to do entire blocks at once, because as you know, we did one block today and that was very, very expensive. So hopefully we can continue to do that, keeping up the good roads while also fixing those that are, of course, much worse than the rest. So hopefully a Happy New Year on that. Happy New Year, everybody. And Eastpointe's 95 years old now as of this year. So that's exciting. 5 years will be a big year for us. And congrats, no longer interim, Chief Haynes. Welcome officially to the city now. Look forward to working with you. And I'm happy we approved the non-union grade scale, and we've passed some collective bargaining agreements that increase pay for all of our wonderful employees in the city to pay them what they're worth and hopefully attract the best municipal employees there are. So I'm glad we have done that. I look forward to continuing to be competitive each year. And let's see. Lead lines, yes, on the agenda today too. Hopefully we can replace those as soon as possible. Thank you for mentioning the number, 805 lines. That is great. Ms. Walton mentioned our exact number at this point. That's a lot of lead lines. We, of course, still have a lot to go. So if you do have a lead line, just continue to take advantage of the filters, and we're moving as quickly as we can. Thanks also to the state, as we said, getting the $10 million. So look forward to replacing some more of those lines this year. And then also on the 23rd this month, we'll be talking goals. So hopefully some of you come out again on the 23rd for a special meeting. We'll be talking goals for the city like we've done most years. And it was good to see Rare out today talking about all of the different programming they have. I think that was great. Sarah Frederick did a great job talking especially about some new stuff. Hopefully we can beat Roseville in the hot shop competition this year. We'll do it, Margaret. We'll make it happen. And check out, if you haven't checked out some of the things the library offers, they offer a ton of stuff. What I did this year already was I downloaded an audiobook for Libby. So if you've never done that before, look into that. Download the app. You can just download right from home a book from the library, and you don't have to pay for it then, of course. So you can get your free book. The one you want first might be on hold. Throw your name on the hold list, and or you could just pick something else that maybe you weren't thinking about reading like I did, and I was like, all right, I'm going to check out something new. So that's what I'm doing, so check that out if you haven't before. And, yeah, Happy New Year again, I guess, and that's all, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Happy New Year to everybody. And thanks to everyone who is here today and came and spoke. Congratulations to Chief Haynes. Regarding, I did want to respond to one comment regarding what information will be available for the hearing. I think perhaps at the next meeting we can give a fuller explanation of that. And maybe in that vein, when we send out notices, include a link to our website, and we can continuously update that as more information becomes available. I thought that was a really good question. So I don't have anything further, so with that, would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn?
So move.
So move.
A second.
Cab?
Please call the roll.
Sorry, sir. Councilmember DeMonico,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember Shadlick. Yes. Councilmember Curley,
Present.
Mayor Kleinfeld.
Yes, motion passes with 4 yeses and 1 present. Meeting adjourned.
Kim has some stuff for you to sign.
Oh. Okay, got it?
Almost fell in your...